Candace Owens.
Sometimes I really wish that I had just taken the blue pill. My life would be so simple if I had just taken the blue pill.
What would have to be going on in your country to make you dress like a vagina?
I kind of snorted the red pill, and here we all are.
And wear a pink pussy hat on your head.
Actually, let me look further into the moon landing. And when I looked into it, I went, oh, this just absolutely did not happen. It might be difficult to comprehend this, you guys, but the purpose of public education is, in fact, indoctrination. They were going to create via sex magic a moon baby, a moon child. And this is on Wikipedia. We are not in conspiracy land right now. So many things that they've lied to us about. Vaccines, birth control, people that are being injured, and we just accept everything the experts say. And I said, if I don't get it from the Bible and I can't observe it with my own eyes, I don't stand it as the truth. I'm trending under science, and that is a first. It's got me feeling like CO the science gal. What I said was that science has become a pagan faith. Yes, that's what I actually believe. It is a bit cartoonish. A lot of gay men are sociopaths because they have to lie so much about who they are and what they're doing, and it shapes their brain early on. And then later on in life, it becomes very easy when you're lying. You don't even feel like you're lying because you've nurtured this ability to be dishonest for so long. In fact, I think that Black music and music all across the board has become somewhat pornographic, but especially Black music. I always felt like an alien, and Charlie always said he felt like he was a time traveler. OMG, you guys, buckle up. I've been thinking a lot about World War II because I'm feeling like there were a lot of lies. I won. It is me. I am the anti-Semite of the year. But as I've told you many times on this show, they are Team Satan. They get so rabid and so angry and defensive of things that aren't actually real. But today I am feeling a little bit unhinged and a little crazy because I had planned to announce to you guys today that I was gonna vote for Kamala Harris, truly. Because Beyonce was supposed to perform at the DNC, and everybody knows that if you're Black and Beyonce tells you how to vote, you simply do it. But no.
Candace Owens is a popular political commentator with a gift for presenting controversial and conspiratorial ideas in a seemingly reasonable way. At the time of making this video, Candace Owens' YouTube channel sits at just under 6 million subscribers, making her influence undeniable. The intro clips may not have given you the impression that Candace is somebody that is taken seriously by the public, but after we really dive into her content, you will see that she presents a polished public image and chooses her words carefully, allowing her massive following to remain ambiguous on controversial and potentially harmful topics. A deeper dive into her content will also show a pattern of paranoia, ignorance, and obsession. My name is Steve, and this is my totally not creepy van. Ignore your survival instincts and hop in the back. This one's gonna take us on a trip. I almost forgot. I'm going to try blinking in this video. I just realized how awkward this must have been up until right now. You're welcome. Candace Owens first caught my attention when her director, Mark Herman, accepted a spot on the Final Experiments expedition team to Antarctica. After the final experiment, Candace made it pretty clear that she did not believe the Earth was flat, and I lost interest. However, she recently grabbed my interest again due to some arguably obsessive behavior in light of recent events. What I am showing on screen is more than 30 live streams over the last 2 to 3 months investigating Charlie Kirk with a specific focus on Erica Kirk, his widow. Candace seemingly enjoys including images of Erica holding weapons in her thumbnails, which I personally find disturbing and disgusting given the context. A list of Candace's conspiratorial beliefs that I want to cover in this video include the moon landing being a hoax, NASA being a satanic cult, and the public education system indoctrinating children about the Second World War. Candace puts a unique spin on the last one, which I will cover when we come back to it. Candace isn't shy about bringing guests onto her show to spew conspiratorial nonsense, and she regularly platforms well-known liars and frauds like Bart Sabrell. Bart is best known for harassing Buzz Aldrin and eating an epic punch to the face for it.
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself.
Away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
What an asshole. Let's watch that again.
From me, you're a coward and a liar and a thief.
And again.
Coward and a liar and a thief.
About a year ago, Candace had Bart on her show to discuss the moon landing, and her misplaced skepticism came across borderline paranoid.
One of your friends says, I don't think you actually went to Disney World. Did you go to Disney World? And you said, yeah, of course, I went to Disney World. And he says, would you swear on the Bible that you took your kids to Disney World? You probably say, yeah, you're being pretty weird, but I would swear on the Bible and say I took my kids to Disney World. You probably wouldn't punch them in the face because you would just think they're being weird. It's a very strange thing when you talk about the topic of the moon landing to see people get so incensed over it. I realize this. I've never been a person that believed in the moon landing. It's always just felt a little foolish to me. Talking on the moon, yeah, here we are. I don't know, in 1969, we had basically nothing technologically, and then we sort of just stopped going after a period of years during which our government really wanted to distract us from some stuff that they were doing overseas. I don't know. I'm not a big believer in it. How are we going to get through the Van Allen belt? Grappling with that in 2005 doesn't really make sense. You should already have a solve for that. Maybe because it's God. God speaks about the firmament. Maybe that's the biblical firmament.
No, it's probably not. With Candace's academic and professional background in journalism, I was surprised that Bart's stories consistently passed her bullshit detector.
Basically, when I found the secret footage, that night I was followed from church. I ended up looping around and following the person following me, pulled up alongside of him to get a look at him, and apparently they zapped my car. All the electricity, everything just shut off automatically, and I coasted to a stop out in the middle of the highway at 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm literally being chased on foot by 2 to 4 people. I hail a cab who takes me to a safe house where I have a copy of the tape. I get it to the back door of CNN, where I'm surrounded by government agents who take the tape. They drug me with what I presume is truth serum to the point of vomiting. They have a clipboard ready to ask me all these questions like, where's the original and blah, blah, blah. I escape their custody. I make my way back to Nashville. I pee in a cup. I give it to a friend to put in his name in the lab, trying to outwit the CIA. And days later, when we meet to get the lab result, because I told the NBC News director, I'm going to get him. I got proof I got this exotic drug in me. You know what I mean? That they illegally injected me with. And so he says, well, there was a problem at the lab. And I'm like, well, what problem? He says, well, funny thing, they had a break-in over the weekend. I'm like, yes, so what? He says, well, funny thing, the only thing stolen was your urine sample. And the people at the lab are like, we don't know who you are, but take your business elsewhere.
I would love to hear more about how you escaped fake custody. Let me know when you're done making up that part of the story. Almost every claim that Bart makes can be factually debunked, and his ambiguous claims aren't conclusive of anything substantial. As the interview progressed, it became more and more obvious that Candace was eager to believe everything Bart had to say. Bart is only good for one thing, and that is studying how a scammer lies and manipulates an audience. Signal boosting him without proper skepticism is harmful and ignorant.
You know, Bart, I feel like the first thing that we have to ask you, since we've got you on the Candace podcast, is what is it like to be punched in the face by an astronaut?
Well, he's got really good reflexes. I didn't see it coming. He's got a good punch. It knocked me back, and it gave me a toothache for about 3 years.
I was looking into Aleister Crowley and, sort of this satanic cult and their belief that they could conquer the 7 nations. He had this vision that he could conquer the 7 nations and be the beast after he was reading Revelations in the Bible. And, he begins this cult is the only way to describe it. And Jack Parsons, who was the founder of the Apollo program, people don't know this, that he was a part of this sex cult, and that in order to establish the Apollo program, this is on Wikipedia. We are not in conspiracy land right now. We covered this on my show, The Origins of NASA. It's so sinister. It's so satanic. And one of the things that they believed was that they could summon demons via these sex rituals that they were having out in California. I believe in Devil's Canyon. Like they believed that he could summon devils. And he said that he did summon a devil, and that program was successful, and that they were going to, according to Jack Parsons, that they were going to create via sex magic a moon baby, a moon child. This is, again, available on Wikipedia. Jack Parsons, and the religion that they established, which was called Thelema, and then he took it even further, and he was considered the protege of Aleister Crowley. And I go, okay, so you're telling me the guy who began the Apollo program believed that he had a vision that was given to him by the devil, that he could produce a moon child. And then we're told, but he never got this Virgin Mary, this like satanic Virgin Mary, this woman with red hair that came and stumbled upon this sex ritual house, that he never got her pregnant, or that she got pregnant and she got a miscarriage. This is, again, all available on Wikipedia. It's very scary to learn about Jack Parsons. And I'm going, so I'm supposed to trust this person with having established this program and think that this program is entirely legitimate, and their interest, their expressed interest, was in conquering the nations, right? And conquering the nations.
It's true. Jack Parsons did like to party. He just couldn't get enough rocket science and sex magic. So what? As a Christian woman, do your contributions to YouTube make YouTube a Christian company? What if you were like super Christian though? Still no? Well, Jack was an occultist, and his contributions to the US and NASA were advancements in rocket fuel technology. Candace subtly escalates the space race between the US and Russia with the claim that NASA explicitly set out to rule over the nations. Well, as Candace said earlier, the moon baby turned out to be a dud. Nobody ever made it to the moon. The evil Satanists lost to the almighty God, and we lived happily ever after alongside the Russians, right? Thank God those evil Satanists didn't win and violently oppress Russia from the moon with their smoking hot lunar baby mamas. Alright, moving on. The last thing I want to showcase from Candace and Bart's conversation is Bart's extensive list of bullshit sources. Keep in mind that their conversation only lasted about an hour and a half, and Bart pitches the same bullshit every time, no matter who he's speaking to.
I talked to a college professor, Candace, at one of the most prestigious universities in America. He teaches aerospace. Well, here's the fact. I have a friend who works in the command center of the Chinese Space Agency. He told me, well, I have a friend who met him at a party in Los Angeles when he was super drunk, and he said, he didn't go. Well, my source at NASA believes a whistleblower sent me a tape. I pop it in, it says, do not show to the public on the screen. And they're faking being halfway to the moon. My source, who was at Cannon Air Force Base, his son, who I confirmed this information with, but people need to understand this, according to Bobby Kennedy Jr., I think it was Ron Howard's grandfather warned him that the moon landings were fake, but he wouldn't listen. A lawyer a NASA employee saying, so someone fed it pictures from the, four people.
You're an actual talking pinto bean, Bart. You don't know 4 people, shut up. Candace offers one of the most dishonest, disingenuous takes on World War II and the immediate years that followed in Europe that I've ever heard. Unfortunately, Candace also offers a unique take that wraps her audience up in a cozy victimhood blanket and says, me, victim. Feel bad for me. Take a listen.
It might be difficult to comprehend this, you guys, but the purpose of public education is, in fact, indoctrination. They knew that if they showed children certain images at a certain age, they would be so shocked that they would comply. Right? So what you had here in the 1960s was a bunch of children who were graduating with their virginity intact. They were listening to their parents when it came to quote unquote sex education. And then that radically transformed after 10 years of quote unquote public school sex education. And suddenly you got children agreeing to take birth control pills. Planned Parenthood got into the classroom. They were showing them these videos as an example of a woman giving birth. Imagine you're a kid and you've never even had sex, and suddenly you're being shown a video of a woman screaming as she's giving birth. It terrifies you. Into what sort of compliance? It terrifies you to say, okay, well, I am definitively never wanting to get a woman pregnant. If you're a woman, you're going, I don't want to ever give birth. Let me take all of these birth control pills.
The way she can smile while lying through her teeth is really disturbing. Unfortunately for Candace, I'm an obsessive weirdo that loves to be petty, so I fact-checked everything. The National Education Association called for a sexual education program as early as 1912, not in the 60s. Candace claims that 10 years of sex ed effectively changed the upcoming generation's view on having children. Research published by the National Library of Medicine shows that abstinence-only sex education, which is what Candace is describing with the shocking videos and whatnot, was ineffective. Teen birth rates didn't change at all. So in the 60s, sex ed was expanded to be more comprehensive, and contraception and STD prevention became the focus over abstinence. When sex education was expanded, guess who immediately pushed back in hopes of maintaining an ineffective abstinence-only focus? The Christian Crusade. Yikes. I tried to give Candace the benefit of the doubt and assume maybe she interpreted some data differently or something to arrive at this conclusion. But the more I searched for the good intentions in her messaging, the less I found. She is telling blatant lies and she knows it.
That is the whole purpose of it. It's weird because we sit in our classrooms as Americans and rah, 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 we could never be like the East, and there were Stalin youth and there was Hitler youth and we're nothing like that. We're so free. Nope. We've actually employed the exact same tactics as Stalin and as Hitler youth. And I started realizing that when I happened upon a book. You guys know I'm a major fan of Thomas Sowell. The book was entitled Inside the American Education System. I definitely recommend that you read it. And in the book, he discusses how the American school system actually intentionally employed tried and true Soviet tactics to shock children into compliance.
Gosh, well, when you put it like that, with half the context and some giant fucking lies mixed in, it does truly sound atrocious. I have to admit, you're very well researched on all these occultists and how to manipulate people. Why didn't you do any research on actual history? It couldn't be that you're trying to do this, right? By telling everybody they've been lied to their whole life and shocking them into compliance.
I think the bigger the lie, the easier it is for people to believe it. And factually speaking, even though today the media says you can't debate whether or not dropping the atom bomb was necessary, it was always something that the generals, the commanding generals in the U.S. Army even, said was not necessary. This is a direct quote from General Henry H. Arnold, who was the commanding general of the U.S. Army under Truman. He said, "It always appeared to us that atomic bomb or no atomic bomb, the Japanese were already on the verge of collapse." Just behind him, by the way, Eisenhower. He agreed. He said, quote, "Japan was at the moment seeking some way to surrender with minimum loss of face." So that was agreed upon.
Holy shit, that's so stupid you might actually shock me into compliance. According to the Association for Asian Studies, despite the overwhelming evidence that defeat was inevitable, Japan's Prime Minister Suzuki apparently rejected the Potsdam Declaration, an ultimatum calling for Japan's unconditional surrender issued on July 26, 1945, with the phrase, some Japanese word that I'm not going to say, which could be interpreted as no comment, kill with silence, ignore, or treat with silent contempt. Without officially responding to the declaration, Japan's Supreme Council renewed their plans for a final defense of the home islands, planning to mobilize reserve troops and the entire population of Japan in a last suicidal defense on the beaches that would, in the most illusory propaganda of the day, repulse the American attacks and lead to a final certain victory, or at least inflict such heavy losses that more favorable terms of surrender would be considered. Why did you leave that out? Assuming that last bit of truth was too satanic to swallow, we can always look at Japan themselves for confirmation. This Japanese word I'm not saying incident was an attempted military coup d'etat in the Empire of Japan at the end of the Second World War. The coup was attempted by the staff office of the Ministry of War of Japan and many from the Imperial Guard to stop the move to surrender. The officers leading the coup fought to the very end, if you know what I mean, and I will remind you that their push was to get the entire population of Japan mobilized and fighting. Candace plants these ideas in her audience's head, starting with little seeds of truth, like it's bad to drop bombs on civilians. Then she nurtures that seed until it becomes an infected, hateful growth, and that doesn't happen on accident.
If you find yourself defending dropping nuclear bombs, on innocent civilians, you are not on the side of goodness. Obviously, you're not on the side of goodness. How could you possibly think that that's okay?
I just wanted to quickly point out that Candace accidentally steps on a soapbox that shares the same sentiment as the US government. Don't let this shock you into compliance. But everybody was horrified by the tragedies of World War II, and actions were taken to prevent it from happening again in the future. Due to a lack of evidence grounded in reality, Candace really drives home the connection between Nazis being bad and preferring the option to drop nuclear bombs in World War II over the alternative, which I will remind you again was the entire population of Japan mobilizing and fighting with the expressed goal of causing as many casualties as possible, leading me to question the logical inverse. If one believes that dropping nukes is bad, do they now think Nazis are good?
Yeah, that is what they are embedding into you. Anything to defeat the Nazis. Don't even question it. Doesn't matter what we have to do, even if we have to commit war crimes, if we have to kill civilians. As long as we defeat the Nazis, it's fine. As long as we never have to hear a German accent, it's fine. Yeah, that is kind of what I have recognized about my public school training. And if you need more proof of that, look no further than the bizarre public defense that people make regarding dropping atomic bombs. Yes, incinerating hundreds of thousands of human beings, and people will defend it just like that.
Wow. The Japanese were not Nazis, you absolute moron. You're either dumb or stupid. Stop it. Stop.
All right, guys, happy Monday from London. And it is a happy Monday indeed because I won. I didn't expect it. I played it cool, but it's recently now been announced that it is me. I am the anti-Semite of the year. Yeah. I was named by the watchdog group appropriately named Stop Anti-Semitism.
We've made a lot of impact and made a lot of positive contributions and are represented in a lot of ways. We're proud of that. And the reasons for that are because of, are very clear. Like, because we, in terms of culture and what we value, there are things that you've advocated for. Yeah. During BLM and during Blexit, two-parent families and education and scholarship and commitment to those things, that's accomplished, that's been very positive for our community. And so I wonder why there's not more admiration for that as much as it seems like there's suspicion for that. And I'll just close by saying in this opening part that for us to engage with you on this issue and to call your attention to it is just to make you aware that even though Jews you perceive as doing well in this current moment, the history, it reveals to me a certain lack of awareness and ignorance to the history of repeated cyclical anti-Semitism that Jewish people and the Jewish community has faced for decades, 100 years, millennia throughout history in every society we've ever been in. And to not be aware of that or sensitive to that, to make you aware that you are contributing to this climate, I think is important, and it's important to engage on that. And I'm curious to hear if that's something that concerns you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't concern me at all, really, because I think it's just overblown. I mean, I don't know why anybody would be offended to say that Jews are doing well in America. They are doing well in America. I don't say that as a way to slack off and say, oh, well, I guess we should point the finger and say that we should get everything. It's just a fact. Asians are also doing well. I mean, I've said that plenty of times.
No, but what about the conspiratorial language?
I wouldn't get to that. So that's the first thing is like, I'm not going to apologize for saying something that's abundantly true. And it's not, it's literally abundantly true. You could go and look at statistics that Jewish Americans are living really well. So I'm not going to pretend that they're not. To the second point about you saying that I'm engaging in conspiracy, even something as simple as saying when you say they, when did Jewish people suddenly get the right to the word they? Like, that's even like, when did now they always means Jewish people? That's like, to me, that is such a leftist. Now we're taking this word and it implies that every time you use this English word that you've been using since you could speak English, this automatically means that you're talking about Jewish people. And you need to be extra sensitive every time you type out this word because of October 7th. I just can't subject myself to that. So if there's a specific allegation regarding a conspiracy that you think that I've perpetuated, I would like to answer for it, but I would like a specific allegation and not just like you say they sometimes, because they is a word and I have a right to use it.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm talking.
Hopefully my allegations were specific enough for Candace to address, and in a follow-up video, I'll have a fresh new list of all the ways she has been terrible, and she can pick through that too at her leisure. You might be wondering just who this majestic specimen on your screen is right now. That's Pastor Huckleberry, one of my favorite chaotic neutral characters on the internet. He makes Shea Gorath seem predictable, and I've been saving this for when I needed it. This one's for you, Candace. Attaboy, Huck. And we appreciate you, Pastor Huckleberry. Keep fighting a fight. Because fuck 'em, that's why. There's no better place to be dropped off from a creepy van than in Pastor Huckleberry's shed. So I'm gonna wrap this one up for the day. But there is so much to cover on Candace, you can absolutely count on me being an obsessed weirdo and following up. For now, get the hell out of my van.